This is Newark, New Jersey. Serving a population of 7.6 million people, a network of commuter rail lines runs across this U.S. city, servicing 156 stations across 16 counties in 2 states. Consisting of 433 miles of track, the system travels across New Jersey and New York, with trains radiating from New York City and Hoboken to various outlying towns and cities. But how did the system grow from its original stations to the network it is today? My name's Zach, and this is the evolution of the network. Public operations of New Jersey's commuter rail network began in January 1983, when New Jersey Transit took over rail operations within the state from Conrail. 12 lines were taken over at that time, including 2 lines shared with New York City's Metro North Railway. From New York's Penn Station, 2 lines ran to Rahway, with the North Jersey Coast Line continuing to Bayhead and the Northeast Corridor line continuing to Trenton. A short shuttle train connected with the Northeast Corridor at Princeton Junction, running one stop to Princeton University. From Newark's Penn Station, the Raritan Valley Line ran west, servicing 21 stations to Phillipsburg. 4 lines ran west from Hoboken Terminal, with 3 of those running through Newark's Broad Street Station. The Morristown Line and Gladstone Branch share 12 stations west to Summit, with the Gladstone Branch continuing to service 12 stops, and the Morristown Line servicing 6 stations to join the Boonton Line at Denville. The Montclair Branch serviced 6 stations west from Newark's Broad Street Station to Bay Street, while the Boonton Line traveled from Hoboken to Netcong, servicing 20 stations along the route. 4 additional lines run north from Hoboken Terminal, including the Pascack Valley Line, which services 14 stations to Montvale and continues north into New York State to Spring Valley. The Main and Bergen County lines service 16 unique stations to Ridgewood, before rejoining to share 7 stations to Suffern, New York. Rush hour trains on the Port Jervis line run express along the main line tracks from Hoboken to Suffern, before continuing to service 9 more stations into New York to Port Jervis. Changes to the network began in April 1983, with trains on the Port Jervis line being rerouted in New York. Stations were removed from the town centers from Harriman to Middletown, with trains now servicing suburban stations on a parallel set of tracks. In December, service on the Raritan Valley Line was cut back 3 stations from Phillipsburg, with trains now ending at Highbridge. On the Morristown Line and Gladstone and Montclair branches, stations were consolidated around New York's Broad Street Station in September 1984, with the neighboring stops at Harrison and Roseville Avenue being closed. The following year, a new station opened on the Raritan Valley Line in June 1985, with trains beginning to stop at Calco. 4 more stations were closed in 1986, eliminating some of the low ridership stops on the network. In April, Grant Avenue on the Raritan Valley Line was closed, as well as North Newark on the Boonton Line. In October, South Patterson on the main line closed, in addition to New Milford on the Pascack Valley Line. 5 years later, more stations near Newark's Broad Street Station were closed, having seen rapidly reduced ridership over the previous years. On the Montclair branch, Ampere Station closed in April 1991, as well as Grove Street on the Morriston Line and Gladstone branch. In September, a new track connection opened near Newark's Penn Station, allowing some trains from the North Jersey Coast Line to be extended to Hoboken. 2 years later, North Rahway Station on the Northeast Corridor and North Jersey Coast Line was closed, having seen increased maintenance issues over the previous few years. On the Boonton and Morristown lines, a 2-stop extension opened 1 year later in October 1994, with new stations at Mount Olive and Hackettstown. Another new track connection opened in June 1996, east of Newark's Broad Street Station. This new connection allowed some trains on the Gladstone Branch and Morristown line to be extended to New York's Penn Station, with service provided as far west as Gladstone and Dover. Additionally, Calco Station on the Raritan Valley Line was renamed to Bridgewater, servicing the nearby under-construction Somerset Ballpark. 3 years later, in February 1999, an infill station was added near the south end of the Northeast Corridor line, with trains beginning to stop at Hamilton. At the same time, Matawan Station on the North Jersey Coast Line was renamed to Aberdeen-Matawan, recognizing the station's location on the border of the 2 towns. Further north on the line, a new station opened in October 2001, with a stop at the Newark Liberty International Airport. The station provides an interchange to the Newark Airport AirTrain, taking passengers directly from the station to the airport terminals. Service on the Montclair Branch and Boonton Line was revised in September 2002, with a new track connection being built from the end of the Montclair branch to Walnut Station on the Boonton Line. With this change, the Montclair branch was discontinued, with trains on the Boonton Line rerouted along these tracks to Hoboken and New York's Penn Station. 3 stations were closed as part of this change, with trains no longer stopping at Arlington, Rose Street, and Benson Street. 2 new stations were added in April 2003, including a new stop near the east end of the Raritan Valley Line at Union. At the same time, a new station opened on the Montclair-Boonton Line at Montclair State University, which provided transfers between diesel and electric trains on the line. In August, Harbin Cove Station on the Bergen County Line was closed, with train tracks now bypassing the station site. This station was replaced in December, however, with the nearby Secaucus Junction station opening, offering an interchange between 9 train routes. This new stop allowed passengers from the Northern Line to access New York's Penn Station, reducing traffic through Hoboken. A new station was opened near the New York-New Jersey border in August 2004, with Ramsey Route 17 beginning service on the Main Line, Bergen County Line, and Port Jervis lines. 2 years later, in October 2006, Findurn Station on the Raritan Valley Line was closed, having seen very low ridership in the years prior. 2 stations were opened on the Montclair-Boonton Line in January 2008, improving access to the network. Near the middle of the line, Wayne Route 23 opened near the beginning of the month, followed later that month by a station near the western end at Mount Arlington. The Pascack Valley Line station at North Hackensack was renamed in April 2009, now being referred to as New Bridge Landing. Later that month, a special events line was launched, providing service from Hoboken and Secaucus Junction to the new station at Meadowlands. The station provided access to the Meadowlands Racetrack and Meadowlands Arena, as well as the nearby American Dream Mall and MetLife Stadium. The Montclair-Boonton Line station at Great Notch closed in January 2010, having seen declining ridership in the years prior. On the Raritan Valley Line, limited trains were extended from Newark's Penn Station to New York's Penn Station in March 2014, offering a 1-seat ride into the city. Finally, in May 2016, a new stop on the Bergen County Line opened at Westmont, providing access to new developments around the station. This brings us to the New Jersey Transit commuter rail map that we know today. That was the evolution of Newark's commuter rail network, giving us the 12 rail lines that we know today. If you haven't already, be sure to watch our video on the evolution of Newark and Jersey City's subway and light rail network, which you can access by clicking the button in the top right corner. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and comment down below to join in the discussion. My name's Zach, and I'll be vanished underground until the next one.